Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today I'm sharing a card wherein I made a beautiful blend and then I messed up one step. But here's the thing, the card is still pretty. No one's going to look at this and say, "What the heck did you do?" At least I hope not. To see this card come together and how I talk myself through making a mistake but forging on, stick around. That video is coming up next. Here's a look at the products I'll be using today, and these are all coordinated and are called ruffled blooms, layering stencils and stamps, but Gina is doing a 3D embossing folder with a die, and I thought it would be fun to do a no-line look and see how that comes out without using the stamp outlines. I have my inks all picked out, going with some of my favorite purpley colors, and let's go ahead and get started. Gina has also released a new grip mat double background design. And for those of you who don't know what these are, they are little designs that double as grip mats. So you can stamp with these, or you can do what I'm doing, and that is use this as an actual grip mat. Another thing I just learned, if you have an ink stand, you can clean the feet. And once you do, it gets its stick back on your surface. So if your ink stand has been sliding, just clean the feet, wipe them off with some water or alcohol, and you are good to go. All right, I have my first stencil in place, and I'm just putting a little Post-it tape as a guide. Now, I just ordered a little product from a company called The Ton, and I'm waiting for them to arrive, but they're little corner stencil holders that will kind of do the same thing. But here, I'm starting with the big background of the florals, and I'm going to add the light orchid, keep it very light, very simple, work my way around. Of course, if you wanted to get really fancy with something like this, you could do multicolored florals. I tend to keep it pretty simple. I'm bringing in my smaller blending brush because I want to get a little darker around the edges and kind of isolate that area. And these smaller flathead brushes really make it easy to do just that. So again, light orchid, layer 1. I'll be cleaning each stencil off with a little of the rubbing alcohol that I use in my studio. I'll do that off camera, but it's a really easy way to get them clean quickly and then they dry right away. Second color is medium orchid. And here I'm going to do a full wash of the color all through the 4 images. Get that down, and then again, I'll bring in my flat brush to bump up the edges of each petal just for that bit of blended dimension to make the florals really come alive. And again, I love the little brushes for this because you can really isolate your areas. And if you mess up, I got a little dark on some petals, then I just made the whole petal dark. So, I was making mistakes, but I was forging on. Little did I know. All right, light orchid coming back, and now I can add a little more detail to that first color layer that I laid down. And again, trying to keep it a little darker on the edge. I'm not really an expert on light and where it falls, and that's a little higher than my artsy paycheck level. I don't know if that makes sense, but I can make it a little darker and a little lighter. So that's what I do. I'm bringing in dark orchid for this layer and kind of making it dark in the center and fading it out just a little bit. Okay. Working that through, and I'm going to do that on all of the petal centers. But then I thought, what do I want to do in the center? I'm not going to have to think about that one because I'm moving on to medium spruce. Now, this is for stem set 1. And as I was blending up, I thought, I should wipe away some of that extra pink ink just in case it picks up with the green. I didn't want to make a muddy mess. So we're adding medium spruce, wiping as we go, and that looks really good. I brought in butterscotch for the centers. Butterscotch is a beautiful yellow, and these yellow and pinky purple tones are kind of opposite one another on a color wheel, so not completely, but kind of. And so there's a nice high contrast, and I thought that would look good because it's a nice warm yellow. Then I'll cover those up, go back to the light spruce, and add that to all of the bigger leaves. And once I get a nice layer of that color down, then I'm going to come back in with the medium spruce to build up a little depth and dimension using the smaller flat brush. So pretty quickly, this comes together. Gave my shoulder a bit of a workout, but that's what you do. And it gives you this beautiful no-line look. Now, the stamp outlines are beautiful. I just wanted to try it with the stencil only and the embossing folder because it's a totally different look, right? Okay, the instructions for the folder are printed on the packaging. That's pretty smart, Gina. I'm not going to use the die today, but when you use the setup, and I've got all of my settings per the folder, you want to make sure that you figure out what side of the embossing folder presses up. So it's the nubbier side that presses up. And then you're going to line up your design pretty easily with the outline. Now I thought I had this perfect. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is lining up perfectly." I didn't have it lined up perfectly, and as soon as I pushed, it slipped, and I knew it the minute it came out. I was like, "No, Kathy, because look at that beautiful emboss, but I'm a little off." And I said to myself, "Self, you're going to keep on going because no one's perfect and this still looks good. There are things you can do." So I stamped that cute little greeting, which you'll see more of in a second. But I thought, why don't we just spatter on something shiny? We've got a little shift here in the folder and the design, but that's okay. So we'll take this little fossilized amber distress spritz and just tap it on for a nice little golden shiny spatter. This is very easy to do. Does not have to align perfectly. It just adds that little shine. Looking good. Then I took 3 strips of foam tape because I really wanted to give this a lot of support, popping it down onto my note card. And this is all Gina's heavy base weight white, which is a really nice bright white to work with. Takes ink beautifully, die cuts beautifully. I did have to trim just a little bit off the bottom of my note card, but I trimmed my panel down a tiny bit with the florals and I was a little off, but that's 3 3/4 by 5, I think. I'll double check that. But we're going to pop this down. There it is. I love the idea of a small greeting with a big image. I think this works. It nestles in there so nicely. And then I grabbed my mixed pearl set. I absolutely love this set. Ever since I got it, it has been my go-to. I just ordered these like within the past month because you've got your golds, your silvers, or your blacks. And oftentimes I do reach for pearls more than any other type of embellishment. And depending on the tones that I need for my card, they have all 3. And I love that. So we're going to boop them right into place. And we're just about finished with this design. So even though I messed it up, this one needs to go down. There we go. You know what? This is still a really pretty card, and there's no reason to just trash it and start over. So let's do a quick design review to see what works. So let's examine how this card came together. And I'm going to use my rule of thirds grid, just because this overlay can help me talk about spacing and where elements appear. You can download your own printable grid, both in USA 2 and USA 7. You print them on acetate, and you can add a strip of cardstock to the top and bottom, just so you can examine your own designs and see what falls where. So here we have our greeting definitely in the lower quadrant, not quite overlapping right there at that key point of interest, but I think that's okay because I wanted to put the greeting in a very purposeful position away from the blooms. Now, the blooms are all sort of falling within the columns, a little bit of white space on the outside. This is not symmetrically balanced, but the whole bloom gathering as a whole does feel very balanced in general. Of course, we have our repeating elements. We have it's basically very monochromatic on the blooms. We have little bits of yellow, which is a nice complement to purple. And then we have our earthy grounding greens. We have our little bit of shine on the card with that spatter that is repeated in gold embossing and the gold beads or pearls going up the card. And again, even though, I didn't quite nail the landing on the embossing, I think it's still very pretty, and I don't think anyone would get this card and look at it and say, "Wait a minute, did she mean to do that?" and then call me up and say, "Kath, we gotta talk." Because if that's the case, well, maybe I wouldn't send that person a card going forward. You can find links to all of the products I used in today's video in the YouTube description box. I'll have a blog post with more information and photos as well. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I'd love to have you, so please hit that subscribe button and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here's another video featuring some lovely products from Gina K Designs that you might be interested in checking out, and I will see you in that video. Thanks for watching and have a great day.